That's the brain game.
G'day everyone. Hey, it's Ryan here from Mezze. I'm here on the Mezze sofa, and we're bringing to you the latest in our series of live cooking demos to keep you all inspired throughout the month. Hope everyone's going well. We've still got 1 week to go. We're on the home stretch, and we're really lucky today to be joined by the fabulous Jasmine Harman, who's going to be, or some of you might know her from Channel 4's A Place in the Sun. And Jasmine today is going to be flouting the international travel bans, and she's going to be taking us to the fabulous sun-drenched Mediterranean and showing us how to plate up some beautiful vegan mezze dishes. And I believe some of them, Jasmine, come from the family recipes you're going to be sharing with us today. So welcome, Jasmine.
Hello, how are you, Ryan?
Yeah, good, thanks, good. We're in different time zones here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's such a good way to keep people inspired throughout the month and give them some tips and keep everyone getting creative in the kitchen.
Well, exactly. And, you know, I'm not a professional cook, but I grew up all my life, you know, in a Greek Cypriot family. So having eaten all this kind of mezze that I'm going to do today, food from a very young age. So hopefully it will taste good, it will be authentic, and people will enjoy it.
Beautiful. No, it's I'm really looking forward to. I mean, flatbread is something I've never cooked myself, but I'm sure will be like a real pretty simple, I'm sure, but really delicious.
So simple.
Yeah.
The one I'm going to do has only got 2 ingredients, and you know, obviously you can buy it from the supermarket, or you can buy pita bread and something like that. But just to make your own flatbread and have it fresh and warm out the pan, it's so yummy. I've made this one quite a few times and it's just delicious. Yeah, you can't beat it. Actually, we actually had a friend's dinner last night, and he cooked some last night. It was almost like a scone, like a thin sort of scone bread, but beautiful when it's fresh. You can't beat it. And these are recipes. Some of these come from you're saying your family, your Greek Cypriot background. Yeah, my mum's Greek Cypriot, so all of my mum's family pretty much moved over to London when she was very little, and so my grandmother would cook, you know, Cypriot food all the time. So I grew up with it. You know, we had hummus from birth, before you could buy hummus in the supermarkets, and before anyone knew what it was, and before it became such a big thing, particularly in the vegan community. So it's sort of like in my blood, really. I think I bleed hummus.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, you put it with everything. I mean, I'm putting it now in bologneses and stuff. And hummus with anything, hummus with everything. It's sort of the, it's a delicious one. So you've got a hummus recipe today. We're going to cook flatbread. We've got a Greek salad.
I'm going to do flatbreads. I'm going to also do gigantes, which are giant butter beans. Hopefully, if anyone's planning to cook along with us today, they have either already soaked their dried butter beans overnight, because they do need to be soaked, or do what I'm doing, which is using them out of the tin, because it requires a lot less forward planning. I'm not very organized, as many people might know from the fact that I put the wrong time out for today's cook on social media. So yeah, so I'm using tinned butter beans, and you sort of basically, it's a lovely dish that you put in the oven. It's like a stew almost, really nice and saucy with butter beans, and it's got cinnamon and oregano and tomatoes, and you can actually put any vegetables in it that you've got to be used up. So I might just throw a few extra things in it as well today. But the main things you need are the onions and the garlic, the butter beans, the tomatoes, tomato puree, cinnamon, a little sprinkle of sugar, and that's about, and parsley. That's it.
Yeah, amazing.
Get the parsley.
It looks great. And I should say, I think a lot of people will be watching to learn today, but if anybody is watching and cooks along, if you do post a picture of what you created that you learned from Jasmine on the Facebook page, what we've got these great Mezze t-shirts here, kind of collector's edition. So we'll post the t-shirt out to maybe the first person who posts a picture of what they cook in the thread. So yeah, just a little incentive to get in your kitchen and join Jasmine. So yeah, take us away whenever you're ready.
That sounds great. I just have to say, if you do start hearing strange voices in the background, that'll be my kids. and they might pop in at any time, because that's obviously the reality of being in lockdown, is that you know, we haven't got a babysitter, so they are here, and the dog, and my husband is helping me out by doing the filming. Actually, John, would you mind turning Ryan up a little bit so I can hear him a bit better? Thank you.
So they're your kitchen hands today.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah, I've given them their tablets, so hopefully they might stay quiet in the background, but you never know, do you, when you've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and a puppy as well. So first thing I'm going to do, which is one thing I always forget to do, but I've made a mental note to myself to tell anyone who's cooking along as well, is to preheat the oven. So I'm going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees, and that will be for when we put the gigantes into the oven. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make the dough for the flatbreads, because that needs to rest for a little while. So I've already measured it out. You need to allow roughly about 30 grams of flour per flatbread. You know, if it's a little bit more, a little bit less, that's fine. So I'm going to make enough for 2 here, for 2 people. For everything, actually, I'm going to make it for about 2 people. And, you know, I don't know, the way I cook, I don't tend to follow recipes all the time. I tend to do it a little bit by eye and a little bit by just tasting it. Oh, it might need a little bit more of this. It might need a little bit more of that. So this is probably the only thing that I've actually measured out, because you need to have the same amount of flour as you have with yogurt. And I'm using an unsweetened Alpro soya yogurt. And it actually works amazingly well. It's really, really brilliant. So just need to combine the flour, that's normal self-raising flour, with the vegan yogurt, unsweetened. I made the mistake once of making Yorkshire puddings with using soya yogurt as an egg replacer, and I didn't realize that it was a sweetened plain yogurt, and so my Yorkshire puddings came out sweet, which wasn't the best. So I have to make sure that it is definitely unsweetened. So I'm just going to combine these so we get a nice little dough. It was a friend of mine actually that put me onto this recipe, because this isn't something that comes from a family recipe. And I thought, this is so easy, because it's only the 2 ingredients. Okay, you need a little bit of oil as well, but obviously that's for when you roll it out, when you put it in the pan. It's so easy that it's like, you know, I'm not much good at baking, doing bread. My husband likes baking bread, and he's really good at it. And I just sort of think, but actually to have these fresh flatbreads is lovely. So that is all you need to do, basically. That's done, combined. So we're just going to leave that to rest.
And can you overwork it? Is it sort of something you just sort of, is the tricky that you don't get too, no just
I don't think
mix it all through? Mix it through as a bit of a dough?
Just make sure that there's no flour sort of hanging around. It's all been combined with the yogurt. Yep. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm just going to do that. That will be enough to make 2. I mean, obviously you can make it in a much bigger batch, as long as you make sure you've got equal amounts of flour and yogurt. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blanch the tomatoes. So I've put them in the pan already. I'm just going to put them in boiling water for a few minutes, because then I can take the skins off more easily. I don't know about you, but I've got a sort of thing about tomato skins. I like tomatoes. I love tomatoes raw, and I'll eat them with the skin on. But when they're in cooking and you get little bits of skin, it's really annoying. So I'm going to just put some boiling water on these. And then I'm just going to leave them to simmer for a couple of minutes on the hob, until the skin looks ready to come off. Put that there so I can keep an eye on it. And so now we've done all this prep. Once those are done, I'll just leave them to cool, so that then I can take the skin off more easily. I'm just going to chop the onions and the garlic for the gigantes. I can get started on the butter beans now. So actually, let me get my other chopping board because I don't want that one to end up smelling of garlic and onions.
And while you're chopping
board.
I was going to say while you're chopping onions. I was going to say while you're chopping onions, A Place in the Sun. It's a show we don't get here in Australia, unfortunately. But it's no, I don't think so. Not on not that I've not on any of our mainstream channels. Possibly on pay TV. But
yeah, it might come onto some of your more obscure channels. I know it gets shown in New Zealand, in South Africa, in lots of different countries, in Europe, in Canada as well. But obviously we're not filming at the moment because we're all staying indoors at home with no international travel really happening at the moment at all. But the show, if for those people who are over there with you in Oz, it's basically where we take British couples over to other countries because they're looking to buy either a holiday home or to relocate to another country. And we've actually done shows in Australia. It was a long time ago now. I think it was about 2004, maybe.
I was going to say you don't get too many places more in the sun than Australia. There's plenty of sun in Australia.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think it was 2004, and I did a show in Sydney. I did one in Perth. I did one in Margaret River, and one in Tasmania.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so but that was a long time ago. We haven't been that far afield recently. We've been sticking more to Europe because that's sort of what's more accessible for British people here.
Yeah.
And where they tend to want to go a little bit more. So here we go. I'm going to actually heat a little bit of oil in the pan as well. Just a little splash of olive oil. There we go. Let that warm up. Oh, my cooker's making a funny noise.
It's a great setup, Jasmine. So you could have your own cooking show after this one. This is your first one, but
this is my first time.
No, you're doing great.
Just sort of like thinking, I hope it all goes to plan, but it probably won't. But that's just me. So I've used one onion, just a medium-sized onion for this. I'm going to use 4 cloves of garlic because I quite like garlic. So, you know, why not? But obviously you can use as much or as little as you like for your palate. Also, I've just chopped up some veggies from the fridge. So if you have got other things that need eating up, I've got carrot and celery there, which will go really nicely in there. But, you know, anything like aubergines or mushrooms or courgettes or any, you know, you could just throw anything in there and it won't take away from it. You know, the traditional dish is the beans, the onions, the garlic, and the tomato. But, you know, if you wanted to throw some sun-dried tomatoes in there, give it a little bit of a, you know, an added flavor and texture, then you can make it your own. So I think these tomatoes are looking like they are about ready. Just double check. Yeah, the skins have all started to split, which is what I was waiting for. So I'm just going to turn that off. I'll drain these tomatoes and let them cool down. There we go. They can stay in there for now.
Now, my bad Australian English, I read gigantes, but how do you pronounce it? It's
well, in Greek you'd pronounce it gigantes.
Gigantes. Yeah.
Funnily enough, they don't have the sound j, the J sound. So even some of my family, when I was younger, used to find it quite hard to say my name. They could say Jasmine. It sort of sounded like a T and an S together. So, but in English, obviously, you'd say gigantes.
Gigantes.
Gigantes. Yeah, let's see. Oh, do you know what? I knew something was bound to go wrong. Do you know what I've just done?
What have you done?
I've just forgotten to put the olive oil on to heat. I was waiting for the olive oil to warm up before I put the onions and the garlic in.
There goes your cooking series.
Why is it not And it's because I forgot to put the hob on, so I should be all right now. I'll just put a little piece in so I can keep an eye on it. Well, in the meantime, I'll just put that to one side. I might as well see if I can get these tomatoes out, although they might be a bit too hot. Let's have a little look. I'll get a spoon. And then I can peel the skins off. Do you see how they come out just from a couple of minutes in the hot water, and then the skin just comes off really easily? So, you know, I'm sure everybody knows that already. I'm probably, you know.
I've never done that before. I've never boiled a tomato.
Have you not?
No, never. So it's
yeah,
I
don't know. I'm just fussy. I'm just really fussy. Of course, you can use tinned tomatoes as well if you want to. If you want to make life easier for yourself, and also, you know, make it maybe a little bit saucier. I mean, it's important that the tomatoes are ripe as well, because then you get a bit more sauce, because you want it to be kind of quite juicy, your mixture. Right, I think that is ready now, actually, that oil. So let me just pop these in. So I'm doing everything at once. I hope it's not confusing.
No, it's all following. So this is the onion and garlic going straight in now.
This is the onion going in with a little bit of olive oil. I might turn that down a touch. And then I'm just going to get the garlic crusher, so I can put the garlic in too. I have to use all my strength to. There we go. I'll put a couple more. As I said, I like garlic, so I'm going to put.
They call it nature's antibiotic. Like it's such a
cloves in.
Such a good for building the immunity.
Yeah, I love it. It's brilliant. There we go. So that's the garlic and the onion in. So I put those in there just to saute for a few moments. I think I might need a touch more olive oil, actually. See, this is how I cook always, just basically winging it all the time, seeing how it looks and changing it as I go along. So those are looking good. Oh, now it's making me cry. Now I'm going to go back to just taking these skins off the tomatoes and get those ready to go in as well.
And so Cyprus, I'm trying to remember, I traveled once from Turkey to Greece, went from Bodrum to Samos, and then onto the Greek islands for a pretty good summer back in my 20s. But Cyprus is somewhere in between there, or sort of on your way between Turkey and Greece?
Cyprus is the biggest island in the Mediterranean. So it's got, you know, quite an interesting history, the island. And at the time when my mum was born there, the island was inhabited by Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots together. But then there was a war in the 70s. So the island is now divided. So it's a bit of a sad situation, to be honest. I've still got some family over there, but they all live in the south now, whereas they come from originally from the north. But it's so beautiful. I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous island, and the food is amazing. The people are so lovely. Also, I think for British people love Cyprus because they go over there. The plug sockets are the same. They drive on the same side of the road. Everyone speaks really good English. So it's a really nice holiday place to go. And actually, I quite often like to go out to Cyprus or Greece. The best time to go is just before Easter, because they have a Lent period, much as many religions do, where it's called Nistissima. And that is where you give up almost all animal products for Lent. And so many people are doing that at that time of year. So it's a brilliant time to go. if you want to go on a holiday to Cyprus or Greece, then as a vegan, that is the time to go. Just quickly, I'm going to pop these other veggies. If you don't have other veggies to hand, it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to quickly pop those into saute as well for a minute with the onion and the garlic. And then I'm going to throw in the rest of the ingredients and all the seasoning. So, yeah, I think my mum was only about 3 or 4 years old when she came to England. So, but obviously her mum was Greek Cypriot and they used to speak Greek at home. But it's one of my big regrets that I never really managed to learn to speak the language. So I can understand a bit. I know the alphabet, which is quite hard, but that's about it really. Just chopping these tomatoes, taking off the hard bits in the core and the green bit. Let me make sure these don't go over. This is smelling so good. The onion, the garlic, and even the celery, it smells absolutely amazing. All right. We'll be ready to put these tomatoes in, and I've got some tomato puree as well because I think it might need. There we go. Okie dokie.
So we have someone here from Calimera.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm guessing it looks like it's in Greece, Calimera.
Kalimera means good morning.
Oh, does it? There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a place as well. It could well be.
I don't think it is a place. I thought it was a place. She's actually saying good morning. There you go.
Kalimera. Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just me making a fool of myself here. Oh, there we go.
No, I'm one of those travelers. I just learned how to say hello and goodbye and thank you whenever I travel to a place. It's like that's the bare minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Efkaristo from memory? Efkaristo.
Efkaristo.
There you go.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's about almost the extent of my Greek nowadays is no goodbye and thank you. So, right, I've just chucked the tomatoes in there, which are fresh, ripe, skinned and chopped tomatoes. So I'll leave that to cook. I reckon I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of tomato puree in as well. So, and then what I'm going to do once I add, actually I'm going to put all of that. I'll pop all of that in. It's just a bit more than 2 tablespoons. And I'll put the beans in to soak all those lovely juices up. Here we are. So those are the butter beans. You can actually get much bigger ones even that are even more gigantic, but these are, as I say, were out of a tin.
I've got a few people commenting on in the thread here, and one comment here is like the most underrated bean, they believe, the butter bean.
Oh, I know, it's so true actually. You don't often see them used because everybody goes for like cannellini beans or kidney beans or chickpeas. I've got some chickpeas almost later. Now I kept back when I drained those beans a little bit of the water that they were in the can, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that actually because I'm looking at it and I think it needs a little bit more juice because you want it to be quite saucy, you know, matron. Quite saucy so that when you put it in the oven it doesn't get all dried out. If needs be, if it needs more, I might even think about putting a little bit of passata in there, or you know, some chopped tomatoes from a can as well. But actually that's looking pretty nice now.
That looks
great.
More
saucy. There we go. Up a tiny bit. I'll get rid of these.
Yeah, it's one of the big things we talk about with No Meat Makes. We have a lot of people obviously giving up meat, and a lot of people going vegan for the month as well. But we want people to do it the right way and do it well. So things like legumes and like they're so rich in nutrients, and it's kind of interesting how like where you get your iron, where you get your zinc, where you get your protein.
Yeah.
It's often the same sorts of foods. Yeah, but it's yeah, I guess it's yeah, good.
It's really interesting because, you know, I mean, as most people who don't eat meat probably know, people ask you, where do you get your iron? Where do you get your protein? Where do you get your calcium, especially if you don't have dairy? But, you know, I've been vegetarian for about 38 years, and I've never felt that I was lacking in anything. I've been vegan now for the last 6 years, and you know, I feel actually better than ever. I mean, there are tons of options if you want to be a junk food vegan. Don't get me wrong, I like my ice cream, you know, I like my salt and vinegar crisps and everything else. But you know, at the end of the day, if you want to eat healthily, there is no, in my opinion, no better way to do it than cutting out animal products.
Yeah.
Right, that's looking lovely. I need to put some of the seasoning in. So let's see. I'm going to put a tiny little sprinkle of brown sugar into there. Doesn't need much, just to add that sort of depth of flavor, and it just takes away, if there's any bitterness from the tomatoes, it will just take that away. I'm going to put a good amount of ground cinnamon. That's one of the flavors I really associate with my childhood, is cinnamon, because you know, we think of it in the UK as something that you use on sweet dishes, but actually in Greece and Cyprus, it's often used in savory dishes as well, and it just gives a really distinctive flavor. That is starting to look gorgeous now. Oh, I wish you could smell it, Ryan.
Yeah,
it is really smells nice and looks so tasty. I'll put a bit of salt and pepper, just a little sprinkle. I mean, you can season it obviously to your own taste.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a bit loud, isn't it? That electric pepper,
No.
pepper mill. I'll just do that quickly. There we go. And some parsley. Just do this quickly. Grab a little bit of a bunch of parsley that I can throw in as well.
And you eat this hot, cold, both?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make it, for example, you know, we've got the sun's out today. You can make it for a nice summer lunch. What time is it where you are?
We're approaching 9 o'clock at night. It's
yeah, so it's going to be a late supper for for anyone there. But you know,
we'll be having it with a wine here.
Yeah. You can have it for lunch. You can put it in the fridge and save it for tomorrow. If you're going to fire up the barbecue, you can get your Beyond Burgers or your Linda McCartney burgers or your Shroom Dogs or whichever you know, whichever things you like to put on the barbecue, and this will make, you know, a lovely accompaniment. But it stands up really well as a meal in its own right. So that is looking good. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer for a minute. Pop the lid on, and then I'm going to put that in the oven shortly. Now, what's next on my list? I think I will do the hummus now, because I'm going to leave the salad till last, so it'll be nice and fresh when it's ready to eat. So for the hummus, I've got about half a can of chickpeas there, which works out to about 120 grams, I think it was, and that'll be enough for 2 people once you've put all the other ingredients in. I've got tahini, which is sesame seed paste. I've got lemon, garlic, and I'm going to toast some pine nuts as well to go on top of it. So I'm going to start doing that. I hope it's not going to be too noisy. Just going to put the chickpeas in the blender. I'll put all the ingredients in the blender. you know, some people say, oh, you need to do this first and then add this after and add the olive oil slowly and all of these kind of things. You know what? Just chuck it in. That's what I do. And it turns out great. So just chuck it in. It'll be fine. And again, you know, with things like the garlic and the lemon and the seasoning, you can do it to your own taste. I love lemon, so I'll put a lot of lemon in. I love garlic as well. But obviously the garlic is raw, so just be aware that, you know, well, you won't have any vampires coming to visit you, put it that way. You know, the seasoning is up to you. So I've put half a can of chickpeas. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of tahini. And then again with this, if you look at it, once you've blended it and you think it needs, you know, it's too thick, it needs to be a bit more liquid, you can just add a little bit of the chickpea water, or you can add a little bit of water or a little bit more olive oil. I quite like my hummus quite chunky. It reminds me of being little when, you know, my yaya used to have a can of chickpeas. She used to put parsley in it, lemon and olive oil and salt and pepper. I'm just going to put a drizzle of olive oil. Again, I'm just doing it by eye, but you can always add more if you want to. Lemon. So let's get these pips out. Just going to check on this whilst I'm here. Oh, that's looking lovely.
Great steam coming out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this can go in the oven now, actually. That's beautiful. I'm so glad I remembered to preheat the oven, because that is my normal thing, is to forget to put that on.
And so you weren't really boiling that there. You were just bringing it to a simmer sort of a thing, just sort of get it all warmed up.
Yeah, exactly. I just simmered it for, well, just a few minutes. Yeah. Now I'm going to pop it in here. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to pop it with the lid on. Oh, I'm not actually, because you know what? I've got to take the shelf out. Just got to take one of the shelves out of the oven to fit this pot in. So that can stay in there. I'll check on it to make sure it's not gone dry. If it has gone dry, I'll add a little bit more water, or the water from the butter beans, or tomato passata or something like that. And then I'll probably take the lid off as well later. So I'll keep the lid on now to keep all the juices in and let it all cook properly. I'll take the lid off in a little while. Right, now where was I? I was with my hummus. So I'm going to put the lemon. So we've already got the tahini, the chickpeas, the olive oil, lemon.
And what's the story with so cumin in hummus? A lot of people put cumin in, some people don't. It's
yeah, I don't.
Just a taste thing. Yeah.
I think it might be because there's so many places that use hummus. You know, obviously Greece and Cyprus, but Turkey, North Africa, all of those countries, Middle East, they all use hummus. So everywhere's got their own sort of variation on it.
Yeah, yeah.
As I say, my grandmother used to put parsley in it, which is something I've never seen since. Yeah. And I'm not putting parsley in mine today. I might put a bit of parsley on top of it, but I'm going to garnish it with the pine nuts and some paprika and olive oil, because that's my favorite way of having it. But yeah, I mean, you can experiment. To be honest, I have also made hummus, I don't know if you can call it hummus, with other types of beans. So I've made it with cannellini beans, which was really nice actually. And so you can adapt to whatever you've got in the cupboard. Or
I've done one similar with fava beans.
Lovely.
But I haven't put tahini in it, but fava beans with garlic, lemon juice and olive oil, and just blend it up like a hummus. But it's a really nice dip. It looks like a guacamole, but the taste is very different, really, really nice.
Yeah, well, that sounds lovely. I might have to try that.
Yeah, it's a winner.
I'm going to put 1 clove of garlic in. I'm just going to take out all this old. I've basically put the juice of a whole lemon in because I really like lemon. And I'm going to put 1 clove of garlic, but then I'll taste it. If it needs more, once I've blended it, I can always put a bit more. Come on, garlic. There we go. So that should be about right, I'm hoping. Are you ready for a loud noise?
Yeah, we're all ready.
Okay. Cover your ears. Just going to check it. Sorry about the noise. Yeah, that needs a little bit more olive oil. You can see it's a bit too thick and a bit too lumpy. And I'm going to put a little bit of the chickpea water in it. Actually, this is the butterbean water, but anyway, it'll be fine. Just a drop. I don't know where I've put the chickpea water now. Oh yeah, it's over there. Oh, well, never mind. Never mind. Just wing it. Here we go. So I've done that for quite long because I just want to make sure all the chickpeas get combined into it. That looks a bit better. I don't know if I need to do it anymore. That looks good. I'm going to leave it like that. It's a bit chunky, but that's how I like it. I don't know if you can see there.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Looks
so I'm going to
amazing.
just pop that out for a second.
Now, I've got a question here, and you don't have to answer personal questions if you don't want to, in the Facebook thread, but it's saying, how did you get your husband to be vegetarian / almost vegan in terms of,
Well,
putting you on the spot now.
No, we've been together for over 16 years, John and I, and he only went vegetarian in the last 2 years. Is that right, John?
Yep.
John, come and tell it. Come and tell the story. Come on.
2 years.
2 years. He won't come in front of the camera. It was about 2 years ago, and I never really sort of pushed him into becoming vegan or vegetarian. He was, I think, always a closet vegetarian because he wouldn't eat any sort of weird meats or meat that was on the bone or anything like that. He only liked chicken breast. That was it. And it was actually one evening we were out having a pizza, and our daughter, who was about 4 at the time, asked if she could have a slice of his pizza, and it had meat on it. And so he said no, because the children have been vegetarian since birth. And she asked him why, and he said because it's got meat on it. And she said, what is it? And I think that was probably a big turning point. Was it, John? I'm telling your story.
Yeah,
I think that was
on the cards for a long time.
I think that was a turning point where he felt like if he couldn't
Interesting.
face telling his children what he was eating, then should he really be eating it? And then he did. Then he I think it was January one year when he just decided to go veggie. He was going to do the marathon, I think, and he wanted to get fit and not be boozing so much and not be eating so unhealthily. So he decided to go veggie for the month, and then he's still there over 2 years later. I think it's become so much easier now, you know, for somebody who's only recently become vegetarian. He sometimes still has the craving for meat, but there are so many options. Like last night he had some chicken, but it was soya satay skewers, which is something that he would quite miss, but actually you can get vegan chicken satay skewers. And you know, if you want a burger, you know, there's so many different options out there. I think the hardest thing for him, and it was also the hardest thing for me to give up, was cheese. And cheese is the really sort of tricky thing, which actually brings me on, because I'm going to make my Greek salad now. Excuse my son shouting, he's shouting at his game. So I'm going to get ready to do this salad. The hummus is almost ready. I haven't dressed it yet, but I'll do that in a mo. But yeah, so the answer to the question, I suppose, was that I didn't really convince him, that he sort of partly convinced himself, and also our daughter was, she's got her daddy wrapped around her little finger much more than I do. So that was the turning point, I think. Right. So before I start the salad, I'm just going to check in the oven how this is looking. And see if it needs any more water or anything on it. Oh, wait, let me just show you. That looks beautiful. Really nice. It smells lovely. I think I'll take the lid off now and just leave it in there for a few more minutes. That looks beautiful though. I'm really happy with that. Where's my other little bowl? I'm just going to make a very small salad because it's just for the two of us to have today. So Greek salad, unlike most salads, does not usually include any kind of lettuce or leaves. So it's quite chunky, chunks of tomato, cucumber, onion. I'm going to put in olives and feta cheese. So just going to chop this cucumber into quite big chunks and throw it in.
And talking on the cheese, how did you get over that cheese the cheese addiction, if you like? So you were talking to you before today's lesson. You were saying you had a cheese wedding.
That's right. Yeah, we had a cheese themed wedding. So cheese was really a big part of my life. But I think it was really when I became a mum and I was breastfeeding, or I was trying to breastfeed. I found it quite hard. And I was really, thinking, why do cows just produce milk for no reason? And I've got a baby here and I can't seem to get any milk. Probably too much information, but that was, then I kind of thought about it. And at the age of 38, I had never, it had never occurred to me that a cow has to have a baby in order to produce milk. And that was just like blew me away. I think I cried for about 3 days because I was pretty hormonal anyway, having just given birth. And I just thought, I can't do that. So for a mother cow, she'll carry that baby for 9 months, give birth, and then the baby's taken away so that we can have the milk. And to be honest, cheese never tasted nice to me again after I realized that. And even now, I'm pretty fussy when it comes to vegan cheeses, but there are some really good ones out there. There are some absolutely shockingly awful ones as well, don't get me wrong. So if you've tried one vegan cheese and you're like, oh no, that was awful, I couldn't possibly give up cheese if that's my only replacement, I would say go and try some of the different brands. There's some really nice artisan brands. The ones that I really love are the Kind of Co, Tyne cheese, some of the supermarket ones like She's, they do some really good products, especially their cream cheese, I think is brilliant. The Bute Island Foods one. I don't know what you get over in Australia. So I think the best thing to do is kind of go to the health food shop or look online and try and find the best, or just try and find a selection of cheeses that are available where you are and try them out. Yeah.
100%. That's what we say. Like it is very regional, so we kind of encourage people to just Google best vegan cheese, wherever they are, and they'll find. Because you're right. So many of the good ones are these artisan ones, small business people who are sort of creative, or small creators.
Yeah, exactly. Like let me show you the one I've got. Hold on, I've just got it in the fridge actually. I just wanted to keep it in the fridge. But that is the one I've got. That's my feta. It's cashew, I think. Let me just check. Oh no, it's almonds actually.
Almond
So it's
feta.
almond.
Yeah.
And it's kind of co. And this one's got like a really amazing texture. It's crumbly but creamy at the same time. And it tastes really good. And it completely looks the part. It looks like a really posh, feta cheese marinated in the peppercorns and the herbs and stuff. But you can also get, there's one other one that I've tried. It's called Green V, I think, a feta, and it comes in a packet, and it's got that lovely salty, tangy taste of feta. And so that is just another good one. So you might have to shop around a little bit, but you'll definitely be able to find some good options.
We have an amazing market in Sydney. So obviously with COVID, it's been stopped at the moment, but it's Sydney Vegan Market, but we have like 120 food stalls there every month, and it's got an amazing, really, really great community that come there, including some of these cheesemakers. So there's actually there's cashew cheese with the proper blue vein through it. Is it like
I've tried some of those.
Really delicious.
Is it good?
Oh, it's better than any blue cheese I remember. And there's also smoked sesame cheese. So it's almost like it's a bit like a tahini, cross between a tahini and a cream cheese.
That sounds nice.
It's really good, yeah.
That sounds lovely. Do you know, talking of blue cheese, see, I haven't found a vegan blue cheese that I rated that much, but somebody the other day gave me this cheese sauce. I'm just trying to remember. It was from Holland. I'm just trying to remember. Willicroft Farm. It's called This Is Not Cheese Sauce. And when I tasted it, I was like, that is just blue cheese. That tastes exactly like blue cheese. So that was the first time I'd found one that I really liked. But, there are some out there. Some of them, they smell horrendous, but then when you actually smell cow cheese or animal cheese, it also stinks.
Yeah.
People go, oh, that vegan cheese really stinks. Well, did you know that the cow cheese also really stinks? Or sometimes when it melts, it sticks to the inside of your teeth, and that's not great. But I think you've just got to shop around and find options that you like. And there are loads of options out there that are much better for you and also cruelty free. So, I remember once when I was filming on A Place in the Sun, so although we're looking for property, it's also a sort of a lifestyle program. And we went to a mozzarella farm once and a Parmesan farm. And I was almost put off mozzarella for life. This was when I was vegetarian, because the state of the place, the smell of the place, and mozzarella doesn't have a strong smell or a strong flavor, but the cows were, I can't even bring myself to say it because I'm going to actually gag, but they were just covered in their own excrement, eating it, and then they were milking them, and then you were getting the mozzarella come out from the factory, and I was like, I can't cope with it. I didn't eat mozzarella for about 2 years after that because it put me off so much. And and I do think that if people sort of saw more of what goes on behind the scenes, they would probably not want to eat the animal products anyway. So I'm just chopping up this cheese now, this lovely vegan cheese, and then I'm going to dress this salad. So it's the onions. I've used cherry tomatoes because I'm just straight off the vine because they are so lovely and sweet and delicious. And now I just need the olive oil, lemon, salt and pepper, oregano, and then that is my salad done. So just let me wash my hands quickly. Right. So, oregano. Oh, do you know what? I think I forgot to put the oregano in the gigantes. Oh, silly me. I told you everything would go wrong. Not everything, but I'll put some in a minute if I remember. So a bit of oregano.
We can edit that in later. We're not, it's not like we're live or anything, we can edit it later.
No, exactly. I should have not said anything. I should have pretended that I'd got it all right. So a little drizzle. Actually, I'm going to put quite a big drizzle of olive oil on that salad. More lemon, because that is always good. Here we are. This looks so nice. Really fresh and summery and delicious. You would have that Greek salad. You would not think that you're missing out on anything because you want a Greek salad. Well, there's a Greek salad for you. And the cheese is really good. And that's the only thing that's changed in it. And that's just like the perfect little miniature Greek salad. So that's done. That's done. Might just leave a little wedge of lemon there on the side in case I want a bit more. So next, sorry, I'm making a right mess in this kitchen. I'm a really messy cook. My husband's always saying, that it looks like a bomb's gone off when I've been cooking.
That means you're enjoying yourself.
I'm so engrossed in the cooking, I forget about the tidying up, and then I want to eat it straight away. So I leave the tidying up till later, whereas he always does it as he goes along. That's just one of those things, isn't it? So I'm going to grab my little pan now, because I'm going to toast the pine nuts to go on top of the hummus. Does that come on? No. There we go. I'm going to toast the pine nuts, and then I'll use the same pan again for the flatbreads. I'm just going to clean off this chopping board. That can stay there. Give this a little wipe. Because I'm actually going to roll out the flatbreads on the work surface. And so I'm going to just use a tiny bit of olive oil to roll them out on the rolling pin and on the work surface and on my hands so that they don't stick. I mean, you can put flour as well, but I prefer to use just a little smidgen of olive oil. So I'm trying to do two things at once here, which is not working. It's not working. I'm going to I'll do the pine nuts while they're toasting. I'll keep an eye on them.
And Jasmine, while you're doing that, I set this meeting up, I think, as a 1 hour in Zoom. So I'm just going to go offline and just add a little bit more time if I can, just to.
How long have we done? Have I been too long?
Well, no, not at all. No, it's really
no,
it's really interesting, really engaging. I think we're about 50 minutes so, but I just want to check that we've got, that we make sure we've got time in case we go over. So, but I'll I might disappear for a minute or two.
That's fine. I'll just keep chatting away to myself and the people who are watching. So let's just keep an eye on those. Yeah, you don't want to leave them too long. So this little bit of dough has been rested now. It's lovely. Nice. I'll just split that off into two balls. Put that one back there for a sec. So I've just put a little bit of olive oil here on the countertop. I might need a touch more actually, using a lot. A little touch more. I'm making a mess now. I can put it in there so I can grab it when I need it. There we go. And my rolling pin, put a little bit of oil on there as well. This feels a bit embarrassing doing this, to be honest. Just lubing up my rolling pin. Should have done that beforehand, shouldn't I? Oh, let's make sure these don't burn. No, I need to put that up a bit. Right, so that's for my first flatbread. Just going to roll it out. Not too thin, because otherwise it will tear. To be honest, if it tears, it doesn't really matter because it still tastes just as good. Let's check these again. Those are nearly done. That's looking good. So I'll just wait for these to be done. Then I can use the same pan. Oh, it's gone off, you know. My hob's gone off again. Come on, hob. There we go. I thought those pine nuts were taking a long time to toast. Yeah, the hob's gone off again. But no, I've been getting really into cooking because when I'm traveling all the time, I don't cook as much because obviously we're always eating out in restaurants. But having been home for the last, what, nearly 2.5 months now, we've been cooking a lot. But also, because it might sound weird, but having the children at home all the time, I almost feel that I'm busier than when I'm working because you just get hardly ever any downtime. I mean, we've given them their tablets today and just said, just amuse yourselves for an hour or so. But so there are times when also I can't be bothered to cook, and because I've been, you know, so busy. And then because I don't know if you know, but I've also become part of a company called The Brook, which is a local place to me. They've got a restaurant just around the corner, which unfortunately is closed at the moment because of lockdown. But we've started doing ready meals as well. So frozen ready meals, which has been brilliant. Because if I feel like having something, you know, that's healthy and tasty and tastes home cooked, but I can't be bothered to cook, then I can have one of the ready meals. And it's all sorts of stuff like bolognese or seafood stew or curries and all sorts of really delicious food.
Yeah, we noticed in Sydney, there's I've got some friends doing similar businesses, or they're popping up where people are doing home cooking and sharing their food through meal delivery stuff. But it's a great way to if you're working, you got to get the kids to school, or obviously not different homeschooling at the moment, but it's sort of a good way to make it a bit more convenient.
Homeschooling, trust me, homeschooling is much harder than you know. It makes you really appreciate the teachers for everything they do, which is amazing. So you know, there are times that you just can't be bothered, but you want to still have something that's really tasty and really nice. And so I've been lucky enough to just be able to grab those out of the freezer. But we do subscription boxes. You can order, like, choose whatever you want. There's desserts like the chocolate brownie, sticky toffee pudding. So we've been doing it all. It's been really, really exciting. And, you know, it just so happened a few years ago that when I moved to this house, there was this local restaurant and I got to be friends with the owner. And I think she's going to do a cook with you as well, isn't she, Thea?
Yeah, Thea, she's going to cook with us next Friday. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, well, she'll be much more professional at this than me. So those pine nuts are toasted. I've just put them on. I'm going to just put a little drizzle of olive oil as well on the hummus. And this pan is really hot, and it needs to be really hot for the flatbread. Let's see if I can get it in without tearing it. There we go. And it only literally needs probably a few seconds, where's my thing, on each side to cook, because the pan is so hot. The hummus is done. I should try not to get distracted, because if I get distracted, I'm going to burn this. They really don't take long. Yeah, let's stay there for a second more. I'll put a little sprinkle of paprika on the hummus. Oh,
that looks great. Now you're an amateur cook here. I'm an amateur TV producer, so I've set this up as a 1 hour, so we're about to come to an hour, but I think it should give us an option to extend.
Well, do you know what? It's practically finished now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get the gigantes out of the oven. That flatbread, you see how quick that was? That's pretty much done now. Just
be so
in a dry pan, because there's a little bit of oil on the dough already. A few more seconds, and then I should clear a space so that you can see everything. I'll leave that otherwise. I don't need to do them both if we're short on time. Yeah, that looks good. Where's my plate? Here we are. And you know, you can serve this, as I said, you can serve it with something on the barbecue, or good on its own, or you can do some other mezze dishes. Obviously, look online, go and have a look and see what you fancy. I've just actually bought, you know, you can buy loads of things. I bought these. I can actually make dolmades, and I've got a grapevine in my garden, so I'm going to try and make some this summer. But these ones I bought, some olives as well from Ollie's Olives. There's the hummus, there's the salad. So these are all the bits and pieces that I'm planning to eat it all with this lunchtime. And let's just have a look at this. Should be ready. Ooh. Oh, this looks amazing. That looks absolutely delicious. Still bubbling out of the oven. And it smells delicious. It really smells yummy. So, oh, and it's nice and juicy as well. Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Yes, lovely. So that, you know, you can pick at that bit of salad, the flatbread, dip it into the hummus. You've got some olives, or you might have some stuff on the barbecue, or you can, you know, just, I mean, that is plenty for a meal, isn't it? For two people, you're not going to go hungry. And that, I think, is what a lot of people worry about when they're giving up meat, is that, you know, they're going to end up feeling hungry. But this is really hearty, filling, satisfying, and delicious, and healthy. And
super healthy. Yeah, really healthy. We've got through the 9th, we've got through the hour mark, and Facebook hasn't cut us off. So that's good to know. So we can keep going, but that's pretty much it. Hey, we've got, yeah.
That is pretty much it.
What's the extra one there? You've got olives and
that's just some olives that I bought. They're Ollie's olives, which I really like, and those are stuffed vine leaves. So my yaya taught me to make these when I was little, but actually I just bought these ones because I thought vine leaves aren't going to be something that everyone could easily be able to get hold of if we were going to do a live cook along. So that's why I thought I won't make those today. But all that you put inside, you put rice with tomatoes and spices and seasoning. Sometimes not tomatoes, actually. Some places I've had. You have a vine leaf, you roll it, a bit like you'd roll a burrito or something, but much smaller in the leaf. And then you put them all into the saucepan and cook them. And they're delicious as well. So there's loads of things, but, you know, I would say you're not missing out on anything, because if you want to have something meaty, you can have mushroom steaks, you can have, you know, meat alternatives like the burgers and sausages, you know, mince. There's so many things. You can do all sorts of things with vegetables. And I think that, you know, campaigns like No Meat May help people to just think, they dip their toe in without committing fully, but just to try it and see what they think. And then hopefully, you know, lots of people will be, even if they don't go vegetarian or vegan forever, they will be making choices more often that don't involve animals.
Yeah, completely. And I think, and sessions like this are really great, like showing how, I mean, that's so simple what you've shown us there, like so easy to make all those dishes, and yeah, like, and you say very healthy, and it's kind of, I think that's a big thing is for a lot of people too, is they don't know how to cook without meat. So when you see demos like this, and, you know, on our Facebook group as well, if anyone hasn't joined the No Meat May Facebook community group, it's a lot of people like Jasmine who sharing their tips and recipes.
Come to say hello as well. Does this look nice?
Hey.
This is Joy. She's been very well behaved.
Hey, Joy.
The whole time. I'm nearly finished. She's playing on her tablet, so but we can all have this for lunch because the children will eat it as well, hopefully, especially the hummus. They love hummus. So, oh yeah, I don't know if you can see as well. my other companion, who's waiting in the kitchen for something to fall into his mouth, is the dog Jet.
Jet. Can we see? Can we see Jet? Someone's Tanya saying, "Can we see Jet?"
Where is he?
There he is.
See him?
So sweet.
Hello. Hello. You're live on Facebook. No Meat May. Yeah, this dog, he's funny. Actually, even dog food, you can get vegan and vegetarian dog food. We use one called Benevo, which is really good. So, I would just say for people wanting to reduce their environmental impact, reduce their sort of bad karma, if you like, if there's a better word for it, and just healthier, then look at all the alternatives in every aspect of your life: food, cosmetics, clothing, home furnishings, everything. It's a process. I don't think there's ever any such thing as the perfect vegan who manages to avoid all animal products. You can't. You still have to shop in the supermarkets, and some people might say, well, ethically you shouldn't shop in a supermarket where they sell animal products. Well, what you're going to do, you have to grow all your own food or whatever. We have to be realistic and just do the best we can, and that's why.
Yeah, I think it's a really. Because
Sorry,
I really think it's a really big point, that perfection thing. Like, I think people think of veganism as this sort of thing of perfection, which is completely not. Like I was sharing with people in the group about, I go down to a local farmer's market here and get some kale, and found out the kale farmer shoots kangaroos to protect the crops. And or pecan farmers can shoot squirrels and stuff. So it's kind of like, all you can do is just do the best you can, learn, just do a little bit better when you learn. That's it. That's all it's about, really. Sort of no state of perfection. We're all just kind of muddling through. Exactly. And I've been vegan now for 6 years, and I'm still finding out things that I didn't know,
like toothpaste and stuff like that. I'm like, what? Now I've got,
Apparently you can get B12 toothpaste, I found out recently.
Oh, well, that's a good one to look into. I should look at. Thank you for that tip. I'll look into it. But so I'm going to have a little taste. I wish you were here to join me, but I'm going to try this flatbread while it's fresh, and the hummus. So nice to have the bread fresh and warm. It's got a lovely texture, this flatbread, and because of the yogurt, it's got a lovely little sort of tang in the flavour. Really good. And let me just get a fork so I can try these gigantes. Oh, it keeps falling off. Actually, this is so hot, I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat it. Oh, there go the kids again.
So Jasmine, we've got a few people who are ready to subscribe to your cooking channel. So if you can get that up, and running as quick as you can.
Yeah, I'll try my best. Now, I do miss the oregano in it, so I'm going to just put it in now after the fact. It won't be as infused in the flavour. In fact, I wish I had a potted oregano. That would be even better. But it's good. It's really good. And let me try this lovely salad. All those lovely fresh smells. Oh, I don't know which bit's my favourite. It might be the salad, because it's so lemony and salty, and the cheese, and so fresh. It's good. I would like to offer you some, but
well, everyone's skilled up at home now. We've got Tanya, who's not going to buy hummus ever again. She's going to make her own now. She knows how to do it. And
super easy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very easy.
Lots of love for you on the Facebook thread here. Lots of thank yous, and A Place in the Sun is coming back as soon as you can travel. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's on at the moment in the UK. It's every day, the new series at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to be back filming the rest of the series from July, if we can. So we'll see. But, well, I hope you've enjoyed, and everyone who's watching has enjoyed it. now I'm starving. I'm going to go and eat all this. Don't know if there'll be any left for John, but it's been lovely. It's been really nice to be able to share some of my heritage from Cyprus, this lovely mezze, share some amazing vegan products and things that you can buy in the supermarket, but that are just as easy to make at home, and then you can make it your own. So I hope everyone's enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you. And we hope to see you in Australia soon. I think you have to bring a place of the sun now to Australia and do another trip.
Yes, we'd love to. We'll definitely meet up and go for dinner if I do manage to get
You're
out
on.
there.
You're on. I'll take you to that vegan market.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jasmine. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your lunch. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ryan. Thank you.
See ya.